So I've got a story for you after the video of doing dumb things. But once we get done with the story, I wish you'd let me know in the comments, what do you think? What were your thoughts about it? And how would you have reacted? Let's get on with the video first. Well, it isn't a snowblower. Yeah, but I bet it blows snow. But it isn't a snowblower. Yeah, but I guarantee it'll blow snow. Yeah, but it's not a snowblower and we're not going to use it to blow snow. It's not what it's meant for. Yeah, but everybody in the comments section kept telling you they can't wait to see how well it blows snow. I know. But it's not a snowblower, and I really don't think that we should do that with it. Yeah, well, this isn't a fly swat either, but guess what? So I hope you stuck around for this story. On Wednesday evening, the night before Thanksgiving, my son, my youngest son, he turns 22, and that would be on Thursday, which is Thanksgiving. So he decided that he was going to go out and meet up with all their friends when they all come home for Thanksgiving. And usually that's, in our area, that's what a lot of the younger kids do. They come home for Thanksgiving. The night before, that Wednesday evening before Thanksgiving, they all get together somewhere. Well, it just so happened that they were going to be getting together out at a local bar here, a bar restaurant. And my youngest son doesn't drink, let alone drink and drive. So this is where the story gets kind of interesting. He was out hanging out with all of his friends, and he left the establishment, the bar or whatever. You know, I don't want to put a preconceived notion in your head, but he left the establishment and was on his way home. And I believe this was about 11:30 p.m. Wednesday evening. But as he's on his way home, he's coming the back roads on the way home because that's, you know, how you get there. He's not doing it to avoid traffic situations or anything like that. It's just that's the path to get home. And as he's traveling down the road, he comes upon another car that's coming towards him. And so he's telling Autumn and I this story, and he's coming upon or head on to this vehicle, and the vehicle that's coming towards him has got their high beams on. And so he does a quick flash the high beam to notify the other driver that, hey, maybe you forgot to turn your high beams off. And so he did that, and he proceeds to pass that vehicle, and he looks up in his rearview mirror and notices that this car instantly stops, turns around 180 and comes back, and then turns the police lights on. So it was a police car that he had flashed his high beams to say, hey buddy, your high beams are on. Right or wrong, you know, that's, I think, what all of us do and what all of us have been told to do or trained to do. So mind you, this is the very first time that my son has ever been pulled over for a traffic violation. Doesn't drink and drive, doesn't speed, doesn't do any of that. He's a pretty decent kid when it comes to that stuff. And so the police officer pulls him over, walks up to the vehicle, and says, license and registration, please. So Hunter does that, and now he's nervous. He doesn't know what happened. And he asks the police officer, he says, is it okay if I reach to my back pocket to grab my wallet? And the officer looks at him and is like, well, yeah, of course. And so my son, being, who he is, he says, well, Dad, I've seen videos where cops, they pull their gun on you when you're reaching to get your information or whatever, because they don't know what's really going on out there. And rightfully so. I mean, it happens enough that it's not a good situation for the police to deal with those things. So Hunter was doing the correct thing and asked for permission to grab for his wallet and license and registration. And so I'm assuming that the police officer had already been in a bad mood prior to that. So he just wasn't having any kind of, I wouldn't even say any fun. He was just being a straight-faced cop who was out to do one thing and one thing only. So gives him his information. He walks back to the car, comes back up to Hunter, and tells him that what he did wrong. And Hunter's like, well, what was it? And the police officer says, you're not allowed to flash your high beams. And Hunter's like, well, that just doesn't make sense. I've been taught that when an oncoming car has their high beams on, you can flash your high beams to let them know, hey, you're blinding me, I can't see when I'm driving down the road. So the police officer, proceeded, like I said, to say that's not legal. And so Hunter just, kind of questioned whatever. And then the police officer proceeded to say, well, no, it's not legal. You can't do that. And, we've looked it up in the Pennsylvania code and all that. And it's a gray area, very gray area. But I honestly think, and this is where I'm asking for you guys' opinion, what you think. Let me know in the comments. I personally, after Hunter told me that story, I believe that police officer at that time of night, knowing that it was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, when the drinking and driving rate is extremely high, I believe that police officer had his high beams on intentionally to create a situation where he could pull somebody over at 11:30 p.m. to see if they're drinking. So he needed just cause to pull my son over. So having his high beams on, causing my son to flash his high beams, then giving him a reason to pull him over. And in the meantime, he did ask him where he was coming from, if he had been drinking, and he went through that whole sobriety spiel for no reason other than that flashing of the high beams gave him that justification to pull him over. So I got to thinking about that after he told the story, and I went, you know what, that sounds a lot like entrapment. If there's any police officers out here watching this video, I'm sorry, but it just seems that was a situation, that was a pretty crappy tactic to pull someone over. But I also realize that we've got to get drinking and driving off the roads. We've got to get those people off the streets. It's just not safe. Fortunately for my son, he doesn't drink, and he wasn't drinking and driving, and wasn't doing anything illegal, had all of his paperwork and everything up to code and up to speed and date, whatever. But the reality of it is I honestly think that police officer entrapped him to cause him to flash his high beam so he could pull him over and do a sobriety check without just cause or without any real reasoning. So let me know in the comments what you think. What would you do if it happened to you? And would you also think maybe, hey, this was entrapment after the fact? You know how you have two voices in your head? One, the voice of reason, and the other one, throw caution to the wind. Throw caution to the wind was the fun part of it today. And it was kind of as I expected. It doesn't blow the snow real well. Boy, did it make a really fun drift machine. You guys seen me, I started going down the driveway and I literally couldn't get back up the driveway till I got off into the grass and got started. That machine is not made to blow snow. And if you really think about a snow blower, it's really not a snow blower, it's a snow thrower. It's got an auger that scoops it up and blows it out, or throws it out, really. Again, that machine's a lot of fun, and you guys are going to be like, what an idiot, why would you do that? Well, that was the throw caution to the wind side of me that said, go ahead and drift it around the driveway there and see what kind of fun you can have, or see what kind of trouble you can get into. And then the one time, I darn near pitched myself off the side, and then I got down the driveway, wasn't sure if I was going to get back up. But either way, that's all in a day of making fun videos and enjoying life once in a while until you get hurt. So that's all I got for you today. Little stupidity. I think for the most part, we should just stick to using the leaf blower on the porch. If you like the video, throw me that thumbs up. Not something you normally see every single day. Kind of stupid, but stupid is fun once in a while. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again on the next one. World's first drift leaf blower, snow blower I've ever run. The Buffalo Turbine Blitz. In the snow. Did it make a really fun drift machine until you get hurt. For those of you that watch Mike Morgan's channel also, and you said the same thing on his about blowing snow, why, it doesn't really work that way. And if you're wondering, he got out of it with just a verbal warning, because I don't think he could have gotten written up for flashing a high beam one time.